7:44, coming out towards 7:45 in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, school is about to open. In fact, teachers will be out of school from Thursday. School opens on Monday. The problem of bullying will invariably arise as a challenge our young ones face in the schoolyard or on the way home. Well, the Torakan Dojo, based in Woodbrook, equips youngsters with anti-bullying techniques to avoid dangerous physical confrontations. Here to demonstrate some moves your child can use is the sensei for Torakan Dojo, Adam Chinliang, son of Brian Chinliang, who many of you will be familiar in the martial arts sphere. And as you can see, I'm surrounded by these muscular fellows. We have Anthony Sutherland and Gevan Ramkisoon as well, who are going to be the victims, as I understand it. I think the original intention, Adam, was to have me getting kicked up and beat up, but I think they realize that given how frail I look, the first cuff, and I could fall to pieces. But before we go with the demonstration, tell us a little bit about your dojo and what is it you're offering specifically that would be tailored towards women, young women, children especially, as far as protecting themselves.
Well, Torakan Dojo started a number of years ago with the initial concept of just bringing back martial arts to the country. Many years ago, my dad started karate, as a lot of you all may know, and after a while, martial arts or the martial arts scene started to die off. I went to university and became proficient in Aikido, and just fell in love with the style, so came back and started it and tried to open my own school. And fortunately for me, I got introduced to a number of young gentlemen like Gevan Ramkisoon, another a former student of mine, Dwayne Hines as well too, who just invoked a certain interest in trying other things. Yeah. So we got involved in Krav Maga, which is the Israeli military system of self-defense, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is a ground fighting system, and then of course it just led into MMA, which is the fastest growing sport in the world. Right. But yeah, I mean, there's so much more to martial arts than just punching and kicking.
You know what? Time is always an issue. But so let's go with with the demonstrations, and I'll ask some questions as we go along. But if you want more information on the dojo, 290-3656, 290-3656, or 620-0741. We're talking about Torakan Dojo based in Woodbrook. Take it away, Adam, with your teammates. And
well, you introduced them before, but let me introduce them again. This is Gevan Ramkisoon and Anthony Sutherland. Both of these guys are head instructors for our San Fernando branch, which I guess you all didn't know that we have a second branch as well too. So they're going to go through some very quick demonstrations of common scenarios in terms of getting into a confrontation out on the street or in a schoolyard or bar, etc. The first one that we're going to do is what we call a side headlock defense. You're going to see this everywhere. Anytime that you get into or you see a fight that's happening, people for some reason always tend to grab the head in a side headlock type of scenario. So Anthony is going to grab Gevan, side headlock. Now what Anthony does is as he grabs the head, the first thing that he's going to do, he just doesn't want to hold him like this, okay? He's going to pull him into him. His idea is to bring the head into him and squeeze, okay? People just love doing this technique anywhere in a fight. Now, what it exposes Anthony to, Anthony, just raise up for 1 second. What it exposes Anthony to is his hands are together. So he's not protecting vital areas. And when he pulls Gevan in, Gevan's arms are free to strike to the groin if needed. Now, what happens most of the times is that most people aren't wearing cups or they aren't wearing any kind of protection when they're outside in a bar or whatever the case may be. So when Gevan strikes to the groin, Anthony's grip or the assailant's grip will usually open up, and then from here, Gevan can do a number of defenses from here to take him down and beat him up. All right. Now it is a common, very, very common scenario to put somebody in a side headlock or to be faced with a side headlock attack. So it's something that you guys may want to see one more time. As Anthony grabs again, pulls him in, groin strike, face, strike to the groin, and then over to the face, and then out.
But I wish I knew that 21 years ago when a security guard put me in a side headlock in Trinity Mall when I was praying. But that's another story. But just in relation to that, how much training would you need to be able to execute that that basic sort of action very effectively?
Well, this type of defense was brought on by a style called Krav Maga, and Krav Maga was developed by a gentleman called Imi Lichtenfeld, who was hired by the Israeli army to bring citizens, people just from off the street, into fighting conditions for war within 3 months. So it doesn't take too long. It would take maybe about 3 months in order to just develop these coordination drills. But it can be used in many, many different scenarios, right? And we try to figure out exactly the most common forms of attack for the street,
sure,
and defend against it as best as we can.
And give us a few more demonstrations.
Right, so the next one that we're going to do is a guillotine defense. A guillotine, again, is another variation of a headlock, but this time the person is actually choking on the neck. Okay? So as the person chokes on the neck, from here, Gevan is going to use his left hand. You may not be able to see it right now, just spin around. Gevan is going to use his left hand. It's very important that you all understand this too. In any self-defense scenario, most of the times the attackers are going to be guys. And if it is that he has his hands occupied, try as best as you can to attack the groin. Okay? So Gevan's going to hit to the groin a number of times and then turn back around so they can see the next side. Okay? And then at the same time as he's attacking the groin, his other hand is defending against the choke to the neck. And then from here, as Tony relaxes on his grip a little bit from getting hit to the groin, Gevan's going to look up to the sky, step through, and then be able to attack after that. Right? So let's turn the angle and show them from another angle so they can see what happens after. So as it happens, defend, he steps through, turn around, and then strikes a couple times and gets out of the...
One of the things, Adam, is that a lot of people, I get the impression that martial arts is about showing that you could intimidate people and beat up people. What is your philosophy behind this? Is this about people getting stronger to protect themselves? Because my understanding of ancient martial arts is it's a defensive mechanism. But for those who might feel this is a way to be a bad John and to go and rough up people, what is your perspective?
Well, martial arts means way of war. That's what martial arts means. Yeah. It is a defensive practice. So, you know, I mean, a lot of people do it for sporting purposes and so on as well too, but it is more for defense. It provides somebody with a certain amount of confidence, i.e. if you're doing an anti-bully program with us or a women's self-defense course, it's supposed to increase your confidence and awareness so that you know exactly how to defend.
And you have specific programs, anti-bullying, women's self-defense courses and so on.
Well, the good thing about our school is that we have so many different styles that we practice that we can pretty much go in nearly any scenario, whether it be sporting, self-defense, for law enforcement, stand-up, ground, and anything that you want to do, we have a program for.
And I think we have a few seconds left, so let's see if we have one more
sure.
demonstration.
This one is going to be for the ladies on the ground.
Yeah.
Do we have enough time?
Yeah, I think we have some time.
All right,
so go right ahead.
On the ground, Gevan is going to be on his back as the lady. Right? And then Tony is going to be in the legs like a rape scenario.
Yeah, right.
Gevan will keep his legs open like again, like a rape scenario. And what he's going to do is from here, he's going to put his hands on his wrist, okay? And what we call a shrimp, he's just going to scoot his hips out a little bit and bring one knee across and move one of the arms across and then swing the legs on top and catch him in a choke hold. From here, he can pull long on the head, squeeze, and what this does is it cuts off the blood supply to the brain and forces the person to pass out. So it's a very good... all right, don't make him pass out right now. It's a very good defense for ladies if they're willing to get into those types of scenarios. A lot of times what we find is that the jiu-jitsu class is populated by the guys because it's a sport, but it was based on self-defense as well, as we said before. But a lot of women, for some odd reason, just don't like to get onto the ground. But this is one of the styles where we push for women. Get onto the ground, understand what it's like to be in that type of situation so that if at any point in time in life it happens, you're not going to be caught off guard.
And you have any more examples that you could give, especially for the woman, or is that the one that?
No, but if you want, I can go through that example again.
Please,
because it was pretty quick.
Because again, for women, I mean, I'm trying to imagine whether woman, man, you're under attack. you're scared, you're not well trained, you may not have the time to think properly through how you protect yourself. It might just be you're in a state of panic. Just go through that
Sure.
again.
All right. So one more time on your ground, please. Gevan, just turn this way so your head is in this direction. Right. So once again, Anthony is in a rape scenario with Gevan. Gevan's legs are open from here. What Gevan is going to do is that he's going to put his hands on Anthony's wrists, almost. If he was a woman, I would tell him to make Anthony feel comfortable that he's in the position and that he's cooperating in the position. From here, Gevan is going to scoot out a little bit with his hips and get his knee to come across the arm and push the arm down so that he does not have the support of it on his stomach again. And then he's going to turn his hips again and get the leg across the neck, and then the other leg locks it on the ankle. From here, Anthony is in what we call a triangle position with the legs. His arm is in between the hole as well too, which means that he's cutting off a lot of circulation or the airway. Any type of space in between that triangle is being cut off. And then Gevan can either strike him to the head if he needs to, hold on to his head, pull him in, and then squeeze his legs together. And then what will happen is that Anthony will eventually pass out if he doesn't.
And I could see why you all didn't want me as the victim doing all of this and dirtying up a nice pink shirt.
Exactly.
But do you require a great amount of physical strength?
Definitely
to
not.
be able to pull off? Because that's the first thing that comes to mind. People might say, well, me is strong enough to do that.
But you know what's going to happen is that, as I recommend to anybody, if you're coming to do a self-defense course, understand what you're doing. It's like going and learning German for 3 hours and then expecting that 2 years down the line you're going to be able to talk to the German ambassador.
Yeah.
It's impossible. If you're looking to defend yourself, or if you're looking to change your way of life and becoming a little bit more confident in walking down the street and being aware of your scenario, and especially what's going on in the country
Exactly.
For the last couple of years,
yeah.
It's definitely something that you may want to implement into your daily lives, or weekly lives. Being able to go to class 2-3 times a week, it's going to help you out in terms of fitness and health, and so there are only benefits to
But
training.
especially in the school environment, in the few seconds that we have, wouldn't you always also want to advise parents, even if they're giving their children opportunities via Torakan Dojo or any other opportunity for their children to train, to protect themselves, that is meant to be a defensive measure and not something that you use to go and bully people instead?
Well, that comes from the instructor. I mean, instructors are there to keep on pushing this into the minds of the kids as well too. Obviously, we are empowering our children. We are empowering women with violent techniques.
Well, we have to go, but thanks very much, gentlemen, for coming in to give us the demonstration as well, and I'm glad you didn't have to beat me up. It's 290-3656 or 620-0741. We have to go, the news, but we're gone for this morning on Morning Edition.